Hello, I hope you are having a good evening like me. It is currently 20 minutes to 11, so I thought I would do a video. I've got a few things on my mind. I've actually got quite a few things on my mind. I've been thinking a lot about the content of my videos and things like that over the last couple days, over what I want to talk about, and there's been a few things that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time actually, including some spiritual things, and recently some personality related things as well, psychological stuff, nothing too massive, or maybe, I don't know, still something I have to sort out in my head, but I know a lot of what I've been doing has been Nofap related. Because I've been making videos for just under a year now, I don't make them a lot, but I wanted to sort of expand what I talk about in my videos. And it's good to provide tips and information and all that regarding something like Nofap to keep my so-called YouTube channel consistent for people, to cater for people that do come here for a specific thing. But I've been thinking as well that I want to sort of expand on some stuff in the future as well, and sort of just open some other doors up. Not that I'm thinking about quitting making videos on things that are Nofap related, but I think it's time for me to sort of broaden my perspective on things, and maybe by me talking about different things, that may also allow you to, or the viewer I suppose, also allow them to consider other things as well. Options, I was about to say. Consider other things. But saying that, I have planned to do a Nofap video, just so I don't take people by surprise by doing Nofap related things. Nofap related things. I'm not sure if that's correct. But yeah, so yeah, don't. I'm just putting that out there, that some of my future videos may be related to other things that still are within a realm of the principles behind Nofap, but they may not actually be Nofap specific, if that makes sense. But I'm not going to completely stop making Nofap videos, just to reiterate that. So, I do want to talk about just some general tips that have helped me in the past regarding preventing relapses and things like that. This is more aimed at people that may have just been starting Nofap, or they're not really sure how large the scope is in Nofap, in how to in how to, I suppose, have some parameters in doing this sort of thing, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed to start with in what's beneficial and things like that. Now, I know a lot of people, when they talk about like the best things to do, they mention things like, I've said this in previous videos, they mention things like, take a cold shower every morning, do exercise, do meditation, or stuff like that. And I do want to, I've said this before and I want to say it again, I don't do those sort of things. I don't take cold showers, I don't go to the gym to work out, I don't practice Eastern philosophy kind of things. I don't do that sort of stuff. But I haven't had to do it in order to, I suppose, I don't like to use the term, but reap the benefits of doing Nofap. Like doing those things, I haven't had to do those things in order for things for me to be easier with Nofap. For me, it wasn't necessary for me to do them in order to combat relapses. But there were some things that I did do, and that I also do, that keep me on a path of consistency with this sort of thing, so I don't get caught up. I was going to try and make this video short, but it seems it's already about 5 minutes. That's fine. So I'll get through these points quickly. These are things that you should consider yourself if you're not doing them, because they're quite general, but they're very beneficial. 3 points. So first one, doing an activity, like whether that be working or getting a job, studying, doing some volunteer work, whatever that is. Okay, you may be someone that's doing Nofap, and you may be unemployed, for instance. You may not be in work. You may not want to find work, whatever the reason. I don't make that point lightly either, because last year I was unemployed for 6 months while I was trying to do Nofap. It's not easy. I'll say that to start with. And finding a job, heck, that's definitely not easy. But the point is, having an activity to do throughout your week, such as work or study or volunteer work or whatever that is, that actually it puts you in a different environment, and it puts you around people, and it keeps your thoughts and your focus upon something else. So instead of being at home all day with a chance of relapsing all day, you're actually out in a different environment doing something that actually has your focus, so you're not worried about things Nofap related, or PMO related, or whatever that is. For me personally, when I first started doing Nofap, or when I was trying to, when I was having, about this time last year, I was having some struggles towards things like relapses. Excuse me, when I was out of work. But once I picked up, because I work in IT, for instance, okay, with computers. So I was out of work, and I was trying to get back into that industry. But what I had to do in the meantime is I picked up a job at a cafe, just making coffees and waiting tables and things like that during the day. And it wasn't my ideal, and it wasn't what I really wanted to do, but I did it because I knew the importance of doing something in my day. And that may seem very mundane for a lot of people, but for me, actually, for doing a day's work of like waiting tables and things like that, it actually gave me a sense of achievement, like I had actually achieved something that day. It gave me a bit of a reason or a purpose for me to put some value on my day as well, to know that I did do several hours work, and that I had something to show for it, And when I came home from work anyway, like in the afternoon, after like busy lunch shifts and all that, which is what you do when you work in that industry, man, I was too tired to want to do anything that related to PMO and that kind of thing. Like I'd already spent my energy on something else that day, and that I wasn't in a position where I wanted to consider that other stuff. Now that doesn't mean that all that, well, I suppose since then, and like I was working in that job for maybe a month or so before I managed to pick up the work I'm in at the moment. But of course, since then, that alone doesn't prevent a relapse, but it does reduce the chances, or it reduces the percentage of you doing that sort of stuff. So that's the first one. Second tip, being social. So I've mentioned this in previous videos. I say when I'm around people, I want to be social, I want to talk to people, and when I'm doing that, like, the thought of anything PMO related is so far from my mind. Like I don't want to, I don't. The ideas are so foreign to me. If I'm in a conversation with someone, like in the street or out public, or if I'm at work having a conversation with someone, or if I'm, seeing one of my friends or whatever, the idea behind PMO stuff, as I said, it's foreign. It's not. It doesn't really sit in your mind very much, because you're, for me anyway, I'm constructing conversation. I'm building relationship with people, and I'm actually interacting with people on a natural, regular basis. And because I'm doing that, because I'm fulfilling that social interaction with another person by simply talking to them a lot of the times, it puts that other stuff, PMO related or whatever, it puts that to the side. So I don't have to. So as a result, I don't concern myself with it as much. Saying that, if a relapse has happened in the past, a relapse happens when you're by yourself, right? So that kind of goes without saying. So yeah, being social again reduces. If you're social and you're around a lot of people, again it reduces the percentage chance of you relapsing. Now it doesn't take it away, but it reduces it. Third and final, and I always try and make short videos, but it doesn't always work out, so I'm sorry. The third reason, the reason why you're doing this, you have to. There's a saying that goes, if you don't fight for something, you'll fall for anything, or if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So for me, I have my own reasons why I do this, why I abstain from PMO. I do it because, to start with, I'm a Christian, and I believe that PMO related stuff firstly it's wrong, and it's not the right thing to do. Okay, it's pretty straightforward for me. I know it offends God. I know it makes him upset. I know my actions upset him. So that's my reason of not wanting to do it. I mean, for me, my relationship with God's very personal, and it's a very close one. And by doing something that's not right, it disrupts the relationship. So that's my reason. Your reason may be different to me, but you have to have a reason of why you're doing it. Whether you're trying to better yourself, whether you're trying to, trying to build proper relationships with people. I mean, they're all things for me as well. I mean, I want to be transparent, as I've said previously in older videos. The person that I am by myself should be the same person that I am when I'm around people as well. I want to be that consistent person, right? So I suppose that's another reason why I do it. So, but you have to find the reason why you're doing it. If you just think, oh, I'll just do this to test it out, I'll try the 90-day Nofap challenge just to see how it goes. If you're thinking like that, of course, again, you're not really giving yourself a lot of ground to work on. You're not really setting a strong foundation. You have to have the reason why you're doing it. Again, it doesn't cancel out you relapsing or whatever, but it does reduce the percentage chance of you doing it. If you have a reason, you have something to work towards. You have something to base yourself on. Maybe those 3 points are just elementary points, but again, if you've just started Nofap, or if you've been struggling with it for a while or whatever, try and consider those 3 points at least, because they've helped me. And I'm not saying I'm the best at this, because I'm certainly not. But they've helped me gain a lot of ground, and put a lot of things behind me as well. So just some things to consider at least.